All right. Welcome to your personalized deep dive. You ready to prep for that geology technician interview?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Awesome. So we've got a career guide to help us break down what the job really is, plus an interview guide chock full of those tough questions.
Oh, and don't forget, we'll even take a look at how RoleCatcher can help tailor your answers using AI.
It's like having a secret weapon in your interview arsenal. So let's start with the basics. The career guide. What exactly does a geology technician do?
Well, think of it this way. You're like a detective of the Earth. Working alongside geologists, you're going to be collecting rock and soil samples, conducting surveys, and analyzing data to unlock the mysteries beneath our feet.
Okay, so it's not all just about rocks. It's about understanding the bigger picture of our planet.
You got it. And it can take you from labs to field sites to offices. You might even travel to remote locations.
Speaking of field sites, the career guide mentions working on drill sites too. What about those geochemical surveys? What's involved there?
Oh yeah, geochemical surveys are all about analyzing the chemical makeup of rocks, soil, and water. It helps us understand the distribution of elements and minerals.
So that's important for things like mineral exploration, right?
Definitely. And also for environmental assessments and even figuring out potential hazards of a site.
Fascinating stuff. Now, I know we've got to dive into those interview questions, but before we do, the career guide also mentions some industry trends. Can you tell us a bit about those?
Absolutely. The field is seeing some exciting advancements with new technologies emerging all the time.
I bet that means there's an increasing demand for skilled geology technicians.
You're right. The guide mentions a projected growth rate of 7%, which is great news for anyone entering this field.
Okay, so there are definitely opportunities out there. Now let's tackle those interview questions. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. The interview guide is a goldmine of potential questions you might face.
And we'll break down how to answer them strategically.
Exactly. Remember, it's not just about giving the right answer. It's about understanding what the interviewer is really looking for and showcasing your skills and passion in a way that resonates.
That makes sense. So let's jump into the first question. What motivated you to pursue a career as a geology technician?
Ah, the classic motivation question. This one might seem straightforward, but it's your chance to shine.
It's more than just saying, I like rocks, right?
Exactly. You need to go deeper. Think back to what sparked your interest in geology. Was there a specific moment, a book you read, a documentary you watched, or maybe a field trip that left you in awe?
Sharing a personal anecdote can make your answer so much more engaging.
Absolutely. It shows the interviewer that you're not just here for a job, but that you're genuinely passionate about this field.
I love that. Okay, so you've shared your captivating origin story.
Yeah.
Now, what about those tricky follow-up questions? What if they ask, what aspects of geology are you most interested in?
That's where your preparation comes in. The career guide mentions several specializations within geology, like mineralogy, petrology, geophysics.
So you need to have a clear understanding of those areas and be ready to articulate which ones resonate most with you.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to mention specific projects or research that piqued your interest.
Preparation is key, not just for the initial question, but for those potential follow-ups that can really dig deeper.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of preparation, this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful.
Oh, right. We briefly mentioned RoleCatcher earlier. How does it help with interview prep?
Imagine this. You're staring at the job description, feeling a little overwhelmed by all the requirements.
Been there.
Well, RoleCatcher can analyze that job description and suggest ways to tailor your responses to better align with what the employer is looking for.
So it's like having a personalized interview coach helping you craft those perfect answers.
Exactly. It can even suggest relevant keywords or phrases to incorporate based on industry trends and best practices.
Wow, that takes the guesswork out of interview prep. Okay, I'm definitely intrigued by RoleCatcher, but for now, let's get back to those interview questions. The next one in the guide is, describe your experience working with geological software and tools.
All right, this is where you get to showcase those technical skills.
Time to impress them with all those fancy software names.
Well, not quite. Don't just name drop software like Leapfrog or GeoCAD.
So what should you do instead?
Talk about how you've actually used them. What kind of projects did you work on? What were the outcomes? Be specific.
So instead of just saying, I'm proficient in Leapfrog, you might say something like, I used Leapfrog's 3D modeling capabilities to create a detailed visualization of a complex geological structure for a mining project.
Exactly. The key is to provide concrete examples that demonstrate your proficiency with those tools.
And I imagine the interviewer might have some follow-up questions about specific features or functionalities.
Absolutely. Be prepared to discuss how you've used those features or to highlight transferable skills if you haven't used the exact same software.
So if they ask about a specific module you haven't used before, honesty is key.
Definitely. Don't try to bluff your way through it. Acknowledge that you haven't used that specific feature, but emphasize your willingness to learn.
You could say something like, while I haven't used that particular module, I'm a fast learner and I'm confident I could pick it up quickly.
Exactly. Show them that you're eager to expand your skill set.
All right, that's great advice for handling those technical questions. But what about the questions that are more about your personality and work style?
Those are important too. They help the interviewer get a sense of who you are and how you'd fit within their team.
The next question in the guide is, how do you ensure accuracy and precision in your work? This one sounds a bit intimidating.
It's all about showcasing your meticulousness and attention to detail. Think about specific steps you've taken in the past to ensure the quality of your work.
Like double-checking data entries, or implementing a system for organizing field notes.
Exactly. Or maybe you developed a checklist for sample collection to guarantee consistency.
Sharing those real-world examples demonstrates that you understand the importance of accuracy in this field.
Right. And it shows that you're proactive in preventing errors.
And I bet RoleCatcher can help fine-tune this answer too, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your response and suggest ways to make it even stronger. It might recommend incorporating keywords related to quality control procedures or highlighting certifications that demonstrate your commitment to industry standards.
Wow, it's like having a quality assurance expert in your pocket. Okay, let's move on to a question that's a little more fun. Describe your experience conducting geological fieldwork.
This is your chance to paint a vivid picture of your adventures in the field.
I bet you've got some exciting stories to tell.
Well, every fieldwork experience is unique. Talk about the locations you've been to, the challenges you've faced, and the specific tasks you've performed.
Have you mapped remote mountain ranges, braved extreme weather conditions, or maybe even discovered a new fossil?
Well, I won't spoil all my stories, but remember to mention specific tasks like mapping, sample collection, site characterization, and data analysis.
And don't be afraid to let your enthusiasm shine through. This is your chance to show the interviewer why you love this job.
Exactly. Now, speaking of field work, what if they ask you to describe a time when you had to adapt your methods due to unexpected circumstances?
That's a tough one. It's like they're trying to catch you off guard.
Well, it's all about showcasing your problem-solving skills and adaptability. Think back to a situation where you had to think on your feet. Maybe you encountered unexpected weather conditions or your equipment malfunctioned.
So it's about explaining how you assessed the situation, came up with a solution, and ultimately achieved a positive outcome.
Exactly. It shows the interviewer that you can handle pressure and find creative solutions to unforeseen challenges.
That's a valuable skill in any field, but especially in geology, where you're constantly working with the unpredictable forces of nature.
You got it. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about a question that focuses on compliance.
Okay, compliance sounds a bit serious. What kind of question are we talking about?
Something like, how do you ensure compliance with relevant regulations and guidelines in your work?
That's an important one.
Yeah.
It shows that you understand the ethical and legal considerations involved in this field.
Absolutely. Think about specific regulations and guidelines you've adhered to in the past. Things like environmental regulations, health and safety protocols, and industry-specific standards.
And be prepared to give examples of how you've implemented those regulations in your work.
Exactly. It shows that you're not just aware of the rules, but that you actively apply them in practice.
And I'm guessing RoleCatcher can help fine-tune this answer as well.
You bet. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your response and suggest ways to make it even stronger. It might recommend incorporating keywords related to specific regulations relevant to the job, or highlighting certifications or training that demonstrate your commitment to compliance.
It's like having a personal compliance officer, ensuring that your answers are up to par. Okay, let's move on to another question that focuses on a crucial skill for geology technicians. Describe your experience with data analysis and interpretation in the field of geology.
Data analysis. This is where your analytical skills really shine.
So it's not just about collecting data, it's about making sense of it and extracting meaningful insights.
Exactly. Think about projects where you had to analyze geological data. Did you create any maps or reports? Did you conduct statistical analysis or interpret geophysical data?
Be prepared to discuss the software you used, the key findings of your analysis, and the conclusions you drew from the data.
And remember to connect those conclusions back to real-world applications. How did your insights contribute to decision-making or problem-solving?
Right, so it's about showing the interviewer that you can not only analyze data, but also communicate its significance in a clear and concise way.
Now remember, RoleCatcher can help you tailor this answer as well. By analyzing the job description, it can suggest ways to highlight the most relevant data analysis skills and experience.
It's like having a personal career counselor helping you present your qualifications in the best possible light.
Exactly. Now let's move on to a question that often comes up in interviews for roles that involve collaboration. Describe your experience working on multidisciplinary teams in geology projects.
The dreaded teamwork question. I always get a little nervous about these.
Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds.
Mm.
The key is to be prepared with specific examples that demonstrate your ability to work effectively with people from different backgrounds and disciplines.
So think about projects where you collaborated with geophysicists, engineers, environmental scientists, or other professionals.
Exactly. What were your roles and responsibilities within the team? How did you communicate effectively with colleagues from different backgrounds?
And if you faced any challenges, how did you overcome them?
Right. This question is all about showcasing your communication skills, your adaptability, and your ability to contribute to a shared goal.
It's about showing the interviewer that you can play nice in the sandbox and get things done as a team.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to a question that focuses on a crucial quality for any geology technician.
Hmm.
How do you stay up to date with the latest developments and trends in the field of geology?
This one seems pretty straightforward. I mean, everyone wants to stay current, right?
It's more than just staying informed. It's about demonstrating your commitment to continuous learning and professional development.
So what are some specific steps you take to expand your knowledge?
Well, do you attend conferences and workshops? Do you subscribe to journals and publications? Are you a member of any professional organizations?
Maybe you have a favorite geology blog or podcast.
Hey, those are great examples. The more specific you can be, the better. Mention the names of specific journals, conferences, or organizations you're involved with.
Have you presented any research findings or published any articles?
Those are all great ways to demonstrate your commitment to staying at the forefront of your profession.
And I imagine RoleCatcher can help you tailor this answer too. By analyzing the job description, it can suggest relevant industry publications or professional development opportunities to mention.
You got it. It's all about aligning your response with the specific needs and expectations of the role.
Wow, I'm really impressed with how much RoleCatcher can do to help prepare for an interview. It's like having a personal career coach, a compliance expert, and a data analysis guru all rolled into one.
It's a powerful tool that can give you a significant edge in today's competitive job market.
I'm definitely going to have to check it out. But before we wrap up part one of our deep dive, I want to touch on one more question from the interview guide. Describe your experience with geological modeling and visualization software. This seems pretty specific.
It is. This question is geared towards those applying for roles that require expertise in using advanced software to create 3D models and visualize complex geological structures.
So if you've got experience with platforms like Leapfrog or GeoCAD, this is your chance to shine.
Exactly. Talk about the projects you've worked on, the specific features you've used, and the insights you've gained from using these tools.
Have you created any impressive visual representations of geological formations? Have you used modeling software to predict potential hazards or identify valuable resources?
It's about demonstrating your ability to leverage technology to gain a deeper understanding of the Earth's subsurface and to communicate your findings effectively.
And remember, even if you haven't used the specific software mentioned in the job description, you can still highlight your transferable skills and your willingness to learn new platforms.
Absolutely. You can say something like, while I haven't used that particular software, I have extensive experience with similar geological modeling tools, and I'm confident in my ability to quickly adapt to new platforms.
That's a great way to turn a potential weakness into an opportunity to showcase your adaptability and eagerness to learn.
Exactly. It shows the interviewer that you're proactive and committed to expanding your skill set.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground today in part one of our deep dive. We've delved into the role of a geology technician, explored some common interview questions, and even gotten a glimpse into how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers for success.
But we're not done yet. In part two, we'll shift our focus to career progression, examining the different stages of a geology technician's career and the skills you need to develop at each level.
So stay tuned for part two, where we'll continue our journey to help you rock that geology technician interview and launch a successful career exploring the wonders of our planet.
I'm excited for it.
All right, welcome back to your personalized deep dive into becoming a geology technician. In part one, we tackled some of those common interview questions.
And we explored how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that extra edge in your prep.
Exactly. But becoming a geology technician is more than just acing the interview. It's about embarking on an exciting career journey.
And that's what we're going to dive into today, career progression.
Perfect. The career guide actually outlines different stages in a geology technician's career.
It takes you from entry level all the way up to principal geology technician.
So let's start at the beginning. What can you expect as an entry-level geology technician?
Well, you'll be assisting geologists with a variety of tasks. Think collecting rock and soil samples, conducting field surveys, and meticulously logging data.
It sounds like a great way to get hands-on experience and learn the ropes.
It is. And you'll be working closely with experienced geologists who can mentor you and guide your development.
The career guide even includes an example profile of an entry-level geology technician.
Oh yeah, what kind of experience do they highlight?
They mention their involvement in conducting geochemical surveys, collecting samples during field work, and even helping determine the land's value for resource exploration.
It's amazing how diverse the tasks can be even at the entry level. And notice how that profile emphasizes data collection and analysis skills.
You're right, those skills are essential throughout a geology technician's career.
Absolutely. And they also mention their ability to contribute to reports and presentations.
So strong communication skills are important right from the start.
Definitely. You need to be able to clearly and concisely communicate your findings both verbally and in writing.
Okay, so we've got a good understanding of the entry level. Now, what about the next step of the junior geology technician?
As a junior geology technician, you'll be taking on more responsibility and starting to specialize in certain areas.
So you might be leading small field teams, conducting more complex laboratory experiments, or even contributing to the interpretation of geological data.
Exactly. You're moving beyond just collecting data and starting to really understand what it all means.
The junior geology technician example profile mentions experience in interpreting geological data and preparing technical reports.
And they also highlight their proficiency in managing geological databases and records.
Which makes sense. As projects get more complex, so does the data.
Absolutely. You're applying your knowledge to solve real-world problems, and that requires strong analytical and problem-solving skills.
And don't forget those communication skills. They're still essential at this level.
Of course. Now, speaking of skills, remember how RoleCatcher can help you tailor your resume and interview answers to highlight the ones that are most relevant to the job.
Right. Let's say you're applying for a junior geology technician position that emphasizes data analysis.
You can input the job description into RoleCatcher, and it will suggest ways to showcase your experience in a way that aligns with what the employer is looking for.
That's so helpful. It takes the guesswork out of figuring out what to emphasize.
It does. Now let's move up the ladder to the senior geology technician. What do you think sets this stage apart?
Well, the career guide mentions that senior geology technicians lead and supervise junior technicians, conduct advanced geological surveys and mapping activities, and analyze complex geological data.
You're becoming a mentor and a guide for less experienced technicians. You're also taking on more challenging projects and contributing to strategic decisions.
The senior geology technician profile highlights experience in designing and implementing laboratory experiments, managing fieldwork projects, and overseeing the preparation of technical reports.
And they emphasize their role in developing geological models.
Which sounds pretty advanced.
It is. At this stage, you're not just executing tasks, but also contributing to the strategic direction of projects.
And using your knowledge to create a deeper understanding of the geological processes at play.
Exactly. So at this level, it's not just about what you know, but also how you apply that knowledge to lead, manage, and solve complex problems.
And those all-important soft skills, communication, collaboration, and leadership become even more crucial.
Absolutely. Now, the next stage, lead geology technician, really solidifies that trend toward leadership.
Okay, what does a lead geology technician do?
Think of them as the conductors of the orchestra. They oversee and coordinate all the geology technician activities.
So they're involved in everything from planning and executing projects to ensuring compliance with safety regulations and mentoring junior staff.
Exactly. And they also conduct advanced geological research and often design and implement complex laboratory experiments.
Wow, that sounds like a demanding but incredibly rewarding role.
Sure. It is. The example profile for this stage mentions experience in developing and maintaining geological databases and providing technical guidance to junior technicians.
They also talk about collaborating with geologists and other professionals on project planning and execution.
It's a highly collaborative role that requires a deep understanding of geology, strong leadership skills, and the ability to manage complex projects and diverse teams.
Okay, we've reached the top of the ladder, the principal geology technician. What sets this role apart?
At this level, you're not just leading projects, you're shaping the direction of the entire geology technician team.
So you're a strategic leader
Mm.
responsible for setting goals, developing best practices, and ensuring the team is equipped to meet the challenges of a constantly evolving field.
Exactly. The example profile mentions collaborating with senior geologists in project planning and decision-making, conducting comprehensive geological assessments, and even representing the organization at industry conferences.
So you're not just a leader within your organization, but also a respected voice within the broader field of geology.
Precisely. And throughout this entire career journey, remember that RoleCatcher can be an invaluable resource.
It can help you tailor your resume, practice your interview answers, and connect with potential employers.
No matter what stage of your career you're in, RoleCatcher can help you take that next step.
This deep dive into career progression has been incredibly insightful. We've seen how the responsibilities evolve, the skills you need to develop, and the incredible opportunities for growth and leadership within this field.
It's clear that a career as a geology technician offers a dynamic blend of fieldwork, laboratory analysis, data management, and strategic decision-making.
It's a field that's constantly evolving, which makes it both challenging and exciting.
And with the right preparation and the help of tools like RoleCatcher, you can be well on your way to a successful and fulfilling career as a geology technician.
All right, welcome back for the final part of our Geology Technician Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground.
We've explored the role, the career path, and even tackled those tough interview questions.
Right. But there's one more tool we need to talk about before you head into that interview room.
We're talking about RoleCatcher, right?
Exactly. We've mentioned it throughout this deep dive, but let's really explore how its AI can help you land that dream job.
I think a lot of people get intimidated by those long job descriptions.
I know I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels impossible to know what they're really looking for.
Well, that's where RoleCatcher comes in. Remember how we talked about tailoring your responses to specific job requirements?
Yeah, it's not just about having great answers. It's about showcasing the skills and experience that a particular employer is seeking.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can analyze that job description and help you highlight the most relevant aspects of your experience.
So how does that work?
Well, let's say you're applying for a position that really emphasizes experience with 3D geological modeling.
Okay.
You can input that job description into RoleCatcher along with your initial draft of your answer about your software experience.
And then the AI gets to work.
Precisely. RoleCatcher analyzes both the job description and your response and highlights areas where you can make it even stronger.
So it might suggest specific projects to mention or relevant keywords to incorporate.
Exactly. Or even alternative ways to phrase your response to make it more impactful.
It's like having a personal editor who understands the geology field and knows what hiring managers are looking for.
It is, and it can save you a lot of time and stress in the application process.
I bet. But RoleCatcher's magic doesn't stop there. What about practicing your answers?
Oh yeah, their practice feature is fantastic. You can actually type in your responses and get feedback from the AI.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach.
Exactly. The AI will analyze your content, your structure, even your tone, and it'll give you suggestions on how to improve.
And I remember you mentioned a video practice feature too for those who get nervous about the actual delivery.
Absolutely. You can record yourself answering common interview questions, and the AI will analyze your body language, eye contact, and overall presentation.
It's like having a personal stylist for your interview performance.
I love that analogy, and it can really help you boost your confidence.
Okay, I'm convinced RoleCatcher is a game changer. But before we wrap up our deep dive, I want to emphasize one crucial point from the career guide.
What's that?
The geology field is constantly evolving.
Oh, absolutely. New technologies, new discoveries, new challenges. It never gets boring.
Exactly, so it's essential to stay up to date.
And you know what? RoleCatcher can help with that too.
Really? How so?
Well, you can use their platform to explore industry trends, discover relevant publications, and even connect with other professionals in your field.
It's like having a constant stream of knowledge right at your fingertips.
It is, and it can help you stay ahead of the curve.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So to all those aspiring geology technicians out there, embrace the challenge, never stop learning, and get ready to rock that interview.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher.
It's an invaluable tool that can help you every step of the way. That's a wrap on our Geology Technician Deep Dive. We hope you've enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of geology.
We hope you feel prepared and excited to embark on a fulfilling career exploring the wonders of our planet. Good luck.